Woo! Yeah, sometimes when you're putting together a good show, you need to take your time to get it right. But of course, we are here and we're ready to dive right into the Sky Forum. My name is Natasha, you know me as Miss Brown Sugar, but on the Sky Forum, we are a little bit more formal. And of course, because of the very important men and women who we have in the studio with us, we like to keep it a little bit more formal on the Sky Forum. The time is 19:16 and it's about time for us to dive right into it. Sorry for the delay, but I thank you very much for your patience. Like I did say earlier on, our guest tonight is Mr. Isaac Mwendela Nsoneka. All right, and our topic for the night, we're talking about something that I think has been, I won't say brewing in the background for a long time, but it has been a thought in everybody's mind as to whether our opposition parties are indeed aligned and are indeed united. We even had a conversation about it once on the Sky Forum. And today we're talking about the fragmentation of the PF and the future of alliances ahead of the 2026 general elections. Good evening and welcome to the Sky Forum, your home for bold, honest, and thought-provoking national conversation. I'm your host, Natasha, like I said, and tonight we dive into a conversation that could shape the political future of this country. Fragmentation in the PF and the future of alliances ahead of 2026. Leadership wrangles, factional splits, growing alliance disunity. These are no longer whispers in the corridors of politics. They're in fact front and center. But the big question is, can the opposition present a united front strong enough to challenge the ruling party in 2026, as we have had conversations about before? Today, we have the expertise of a man who I think is better placed in a position who can answer or help answer this question for us. Tonight, we're not just talking politics, we're talking about credibility, leadership, and the future of Zambia's democracy, because history has shown us that a divided opposition often strengthens the ruling party. So are our oppositions truly that divided that it's almost a dead giveaway for the ruling party? To help us unpack this, I'm joined by Isaac Mwendela Nsoneka, a PF member of the Central Committee and spokesperson aligned to President Makebi Zulu. Mr. Nsoneka, good evening and welcome to the Sky Forum.
Good evening, Natasha, and good evening to all the listeners at home.
Thank you very much, sir. I want us to just get right into it, and I mean, we're already quite behind time, so we're going to stretch it also a little bit after 8 o'clock, if you don't mind, just so to make up for the time that we've lost. So to dive just right into it, the Patriotic Front, sir, has been marred by visible leadership wrangles and factional divisions. I mean, there was once a point in time where we thought there were two different PFs because there was two different alliance parties. From where you sit, what is really at the heart of this of these disputes? Is it ideology? Is it leadership? Is it legitimacy? Or is it simply a power struggle within the PF party?
Well, thank you very much for that question. And I think that from the onset, I would like to just lay it bare that what all of you are witnessing in the Patriotic Front is not fragmentation, as you may wish to put it like that. It is simply an exercise of democracy. It is simply a political party. The PF is simply a political party that is highly democratic. Hence, you are seeing a lot of people, you know, who came up and vied to take up leadership as presidents of the Patriotic Front and leaders in various portfolios of our party. Hence, what others may have termed as fragmentation, or what others may have identified as fragmentation of the Patriotic Front. Really, it is just an expression and an exercise of democracy that you are currently witnessing. As you know, these are the so-called issues that we are having These are not matters that this is a road that we have traveled down before. It's not the first time. It's not our first rodeo that we have left. That we have lost a leader, a president of our party, without really having a clear roadmap in terms of succession, on who is going to succeed and at what point this succession will happen. This happened before. What happened what happened last year when President Edgar Chagwa-Lungu, God rest his soul, passed on, has happened before. It happened in 2014 when we were in government then as a Patriotic Front, when we lost our president then and founding father, His Excellency Makebi Zulu. If you remember, there were all these issues that were again at that time identified as fragmentation of the Patriotic Front. But at the end of the day, we all came together having recognized a common enemy at the time that we needed to defeat in order to continue to serve the Zambian people. We needed continuity. We realized at that time that Zambia as a country needed continuity from where President Sata had left. And so people had to put aside, whatever little egos that they may have, that they may have had at the time, to be able to put Zambia forward, to be able to put the Patriotic Front membership above anything else, to be able to put each and every, Zambian that requires to have a benefit, from their country before all those little egos that our leaders may have had. So this is a road that we have traveled down before.
So if you have traveled down this road before and we're still seeing sort of this power struggle happening within the party, has the PF truly learned from its past mistakes and tried to maybe make sure, like you're saying, have a plan for if the current leader, anything tragic happens or he steps down, that there's somebody to succeed him? If it has happened before in the past, why is it repeating itself if you have learned?
Certainly the party is now on that particular path to put, lay bare and put in very clear terms processes on how leadership has got to be dispensed from one end to the other. So as you have rightly put it, these events should have served as learning curves, during the times that we suffered them. And they have served as learning curves. That's why there's been an amendment to our party constitution to ensure that a lot of other things, the issue that is at hand that is relative to the question you've asked, is not the only problem that we had in the Patriotic Front. There were all sorts of issues that needed to be ironed out. That's why President Edgar Lungu had set up a technical committee to look at the party constitution, review the constitution, and make possible amendments, that would benefit the party and foster the growth of our party. And I think that to answer your question simply, we have learned, and we are putting in place measures to ensure that occurrences like the current one and those of the past don't surface again, or we don't get to see them ever again in future. But simply put, it is not fragmentation, like I said. Others may call it whatever that they may want to call it. But for some of us, it is merely a political party existing in democracy. People come up, express themselves, and express their interest to vie for leadership. For instance, there was a vacancy in the office of the president when President Edgar Chagwa-Lungu passed on, God rest his soul. And then the party, following its constitution and all manner of guidelines, came up with what was called the party convention. The party had to hold a convention to elect a new leader. Now the issues that have happened. Most of the so-called fragmentation that you are seeing in the Patriotic Front is something that is stifled and of course steered by those that are in government, who have decided to tamper with the legitimacy of our political party. Not the leaders, but the legitimacy of our political party, by going to the Registrar of Societies, sponsoring stooges within the Patriotic Front to conduct coups and hostile takeovers of leadership. Something that is way outside the constitution.
Can I chime in there, because we're talking about fragmentation? So before we move too much or far away from it, you spoke about how the current government is involved in causing some of these destabilizing factors, but we're seeing the emergence of formations like the Pamodzi Alliance that was started by somebody who thought spoke the same language as the rest of the PF. At this point, we don't know who is really PF, who is not PF. It's very confusing for the people. Is this a sign of growth and diversification in the opposition space, or further fragmentation? And I'll use this word again because this is what it looks like to the outside looking in. Is it further fragmentation that weakens the collective voice? Because, like I said, we from the outside looking in, the PF party is not united, to be very honest. From the outside looking in, from the inside, as you've said, there's things you're working on, you've learned, you're trying to grow. But how does that translate to us on the outside?
Well, you see, every process of election comes with two reactions. Reactions in agreement or reactions in disagreement. In any election, expect that there will be a winner and there will be a loser. Those who lose, the rules of natural justice demand that they congratulate the winners and participate fully, support fully those that have won. But as human beings are created by God, we are literally creatures of understanding. You see what I mean? We're creatures of understanding. And people are allowed to feel how they feel after an election has happened. And you see what is now being termed as fragmentation. It is merely some of our leaders reacting in the manner that they feel they should react after an election has been held and a new leader has been elected. So I think that matters of fragmentation, I'll still go back to what the real problem is, because what you're asking on is a surface issue. The real problem is the interference by those in government with the legality of the PF. The legal standing of the Patriotic Front right now is something that is an elephant in the room. That is an issue that we should be discussing if we should, restrict this interview to discussing the Patriotic Front. We should discuss the issues of the legalities around the Patriotic Front. And that's where I'm telling you that there's been complacency by those in government from the beginning to this point where we are at. All these issues that you are seeing, we are having issues that we are having to deal with because those that are in government have decided that they want to interfere, with the standing of the Patriotic Front. I think that in your first question, in building your background, you mentioned something to do with the opposition, disunity in the opposition, or in the Patriotic Front, per se, if we narrow it down, advantages the ruling party. That is the exact strategy that they think they are using. They think that the enemy they need to annihilate from the political doldrums of our country is the Patriotic Front. They have been misled to believe that once they kill the Patriotic Front legally, by allowing the registrar of societies to be changing names of office bearers at midnight, by allowing the Zambia Police Headquarters to be clearing fingerprints of individuals on a weekend, something that is unnatural, something that is even ungodly. It doesn't happen. It's never happened in Zambia, where you have to go and have your fingerprints cleared at the force headquarters on a Saturday or on a Sunday, So all of these things are what point to the extent, to which this government has gone to try and annihilate the Patriotic Front. But you see, what this government must be wary of, that the opposition is not the PF on paper. The opposition that they have is each and every Zambian who is having to buy a bag of mealie at 450 kwacha. Each and every Zambian that is having to buy a liter of diesel at 31 kwacha. That is the opposition that they have. That is the opposition that they have. This is a crop of Zambians who are willing to unite around a leader like Makebi Zulu and present him forward as the option that they need, as a solution that they need to their many challenges that they are facing today. So it may be a strategy that they think is working, because there seems to be what they have now created and are terming as factions. They have one very short gentleman, with respect to my colleagues who are not as tall as myself, whom they are parading around as leader of the Patriotic Front, who claims he has the papers for the Patriotic Front under his pillow. We don't know whether it's under his pillow, in his shirt, boxers, wherever he keeps them. But he claims those papers can only be reached by himself, which means it's a very private area around the country. So you see, it's a matter that really requires all of us coming together and pointing out wrong for what it is.
I don't want to, you said if we're going to constrict this interview to talking about the PF, we most definitely will not. But the reason why I feel like it's important to unpack the what's going on within the PF is because we're also talking about the impact that this is having on public confidence, and we're going towards the general elections. And when we talk about, do we have an opposition? Do we have, if we're not happy with the current government, who are we voting for? So when we look at the Patriotic Front,
if you're not happy with the current government, you are voting for Makebi Zulu.
Okay, but when we look,
leadership rallies around,
but when we look at particularly the Patriotic Front, we're looking at internal disputes. We're talking about splintering alliances, new contenders. We're talking about so much that has happened. We're talking even about the late president's burial. It's tied closely to the PF as well. Do you believe that these internal conflicts have damaged public trust in the PF as a credible alternative? And if so, how do you rebuild that confidence?
I don't think that these issues have damaged, public confidence with regards to the Zambian public and how they view the Patriotic Front. So perhaps with that particular answer and background, I may not be necessarily need to answer the second question. But I do not believe that whatever little issues that we're having now may have, damaged public confidence. Do you know why I believe that is not enough to damage public confidence?
Please elaborate.
Because the Zambian public is well aware of who is behind this perceived confusion. The Zambian public is well aware who is financing this confusion that we are having in the Patriotic Front. The Zambian public is well aware of who is behind, the confusion that is happening in the Patriotic Front with regards to, the legal matters that I keep referring to. The Zambian public knows who has destroyed PF. They know who has destroyed PF, and it's not we, the PF members. It is those in government that seem to think that the only way they could stand their hold on power is by annihilating the Patriotic Front, is by sowing these seeds of discord and all this confusion. Your question is what they believe that the Zambian people should have in their mind. They want the Zambian people to lose confidence in us. But I can tell you that the Zambian people will not lose confidence in the Patriotic Front, because the Zambian people, against the background, against the UPND, know exactly what the PF can do when they're in government. They know, the Zambian public know what exactly the Patriotic Front can do when it's in government, how it can run the economy, how it can improve infrastructure development, how it can build schools, how it can build hospitals and clinics and health centers in each and every one of the 116 districts. The Zambian people know what the PF can do in as far as developing the country is concerned. As opposed to this government that is here now, the Zambian people, all the Zambian people know is that these are people who go into political parties and sponsor confusion. It's not only the PF that these people have destroyed. They've gone as far as, there are people who are very shameless, there are people who are very unrepentant, they don't even have fear. Somebody said that the deepest end of failure in leadership is when the leadership mobilize themselves in a little corner and they do away with the fear of the people. This UPND government, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema and his friends in the UPND, have no fear for the Zambian people, and that is their undoing. Because the Zambian people, unlike our friends in other countries, in Tanzania, who will take to the streets, who will take to the streets and vandalize property and all of that, and engage in clashes with the police. We, the Zambian people, are looking forward to August 13th, and they know what they will do. The reaction to all this bad, governance and mismanagement of our country by Mr. Hakainde will be answered at the ballot. That's why you heard him crying in Livingstone that if you don't vote for me, they will remove me, they'll take me to jail. Because they know how badly they have performed as a government.
That was a deep statement there at the end.
It's coming from the heart.
It left a lot to think about. I really can't wait to open these phone lines because I know there's going to be a lot of questions and a lot of thoughts, especially on what you have been saying. I want us to move towards alliances because that has been, I'll say, a political trend this year. Alliance after alliance after alliance. We're now seeing the emergence of formations like the Pamodzi Alliance as well. Is this a sign of growth and diversification in the opposition space, or further fragmentation, to say the least? Because first we were talking about the Tonse Alliance. Now there's the Pamodzi Alliance, and it's still under the same people who used to fly the PF flag. How would you respond to that?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It is a sign of growth. It is a sign of growth in the opposition. It is a sign of realization. It is a point that it is a situation that points to the fact that the Zambian opposition political parties have realized that we are stronger together than isolated. And so we're coming together under this PF Pamodzi Alliance to be able to move forward and edge together as one team in the opposition. Not only people that may be considered as like minds, but at this point, a like mind is everyone, each and every Zambian, and none alike, who are tired with the mismanagement of our country that has happened for the last 5 years. Those are the people that we in the Patriotic Front, PF Pamodzi Alliance, are bringing together, are coming together with, to work together to be able to change government and rebuild this country. This country needs rebuilding. And so the coming together of all these alliances is not further fragmentation. It is not something that should even worry the Zambian public. It is something that should give you hope as a Zambian. It should give you hope that at least the group of people that you consider as leaders are able to come together and move in one single file to be able to foster change of government, which is required in order for us to rebuild this country. I've heard somebody ask questions like, all they talk about is remove HH, remove HH. How are we going to rebuild HH, to rebuild the country, if the biggest obstacle is sitting there at community house and running things, micromanaging things? We are not going to rebuild
But I want to ask
if
you,
we don't change government.
I want to ask you this.
Is voting Mr. Hakainde Hichilema and his friends out.
But there are recurring issues in Zambian politics which add to the tension between collective unity and individual political parties. Are these alliances just temporary marriages of convenience? No. So that once you achieve what you want, and maybe you have gotten the government that you want out of government, and then you get what you want, then all of a sudden we start to see these fragmentations happen again, and now we are not aligned again. We've seen this happen many times before.
Well, you see, for us as a Patriotic Front, you've got to give us a benefit of doubt. We went into an election in 2011 as an individual political party. Okay? As an individual political party, brought everybody together, they joined the Patriotic Front, and we marched as a Patriotic Front into government. The UPND went into government as a UPND alliance. They came out, they won, they shared positions amongst themselves as UPND, and those who are very close friends of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, who are purporting to run small Nsoneka political parties. They came together, he gave them jobs, appointed them ministers of science and technology. Old men being appointed minister of science and technology. The brother probably can't even press, doesn't even know how to turn on the microphone on his phone, you see. So all of these things are things that we are looking to change when we form government. And I'll tell you this, our coming together is not a marriage of convenience, as you put it. It's a point of need. It's an identification of the need for us to be able to rebuild Zambia. And we realize in the Patriotic Front under President Makebi Zulu, we realize under President Makebi Zulu as a PF Pamodzi Alliance that for us to be able to rebuild Zambia, we need everyone coming together with all the ideas. All the political parties that are set up in Zambia, they have ideas that they want, that they think they can use to be able to develop our country. What we think works as a PF Pamodzi may not be what our colleagues in Tonse believe, may not be what our colleagues in the People's Pact believe. But if we all come together, compare notes and work together for the good of the Zambian people, That is why these alliances are formed, and that is why they are existing. It's not marriages of convenience. It's not marriages of convenience at all. It is simply a congregation of like minds coming together, people who are passionate about Zambia and want to see Zambia move forward, want to see Zambia develop, want to see Zambia grow, want to see Zambia liberated from the shackles of poverty that these people who claimed at one point that they were the masters of economics have rendered our country into. Even if I were to ask you, did you imagine Zambia would be this bad in 2020? You know,
Yeah,
given
no,
the people that are here. So you see, all of these things are what forms, you know, our point of agreement. We all agree that Zambia needs rebuilding. We all agree that as a country we need a break. We need a do-over. We need to start over. Because the kind of damage that has been done in just the last 5 years, I can assure you, the Zambian people will not breathe if these people were to have another 5 years.
I want to bring it back internally, because before we talk about what the Zambian people will accept or deny, we need to first understand what is happening internally. Given Lubinda, like we spoken, Mr. Given Lubinda unveiled the PF Pamozi Alliance, which you spoke about, distancing, in actual fact, the party from Mundubile's bloc. What does this signal about the PF internal direction?
Well, you see, our friends in the now Donse
Yes.
left the Patriotic Front. They went to join FDD. When you see them address their meetings and all of that, they wave the FDD flag. They do not wave the FDD, the Patriotic Front flag. President Given Lubinda, who was president of our party then, and the rest of the party leadership came together and held and formed the Pamozi Alliance with other political parties, civil society organizations, persons of note who also believe that Zambia needs liberating. They came together and they formed the PF Pamozi Alliance, where we are right now. And the PF Pamozi Alliance, as it is, the PF as the biggest opposition political party with the majority representation in parliament amongst the opposition political parties in Zambia, was made to be the anchor party of that particular alliance, as it were in the Tonse Alliance before some people came and caused confusion in there, and that had to happen. So all of these things that we are talking about, they still come back to the same issues. They still come back to the same issue, that we as the leadership in the Patriotic Front, President Makebi Zulu and the rest of our leaders in the Patriotic Front, realize that we cannot work in isolation. We need to work with other people. So whether our friends who went to Tonse went where they are and they are doing what they are doing, it's politics. It's politics. People are allowed to mobilize however they want to mobilize. They left the Patriotic Front. They went into FDD and Tonse Alliance, FDD Tonse Alliance, where they are right now, you see. But then that is another opposition political entity that we in the Pamozi Alliance should be reaching out to for collaboration in order for us to work together as an opposition. As you have seen, if you have monitored social media or the views of the Zambian people everywhere, they are saying, you opposition leaders, you our leaders, work together.
This is why we use the word
I don't see where the fragmentation.
Well, if you're not working together, it means you're claiming unity, but you are different factions of what is seeming. It's like a different pieces of what is seeming to be the same pie.
But you see, what I'm telling you is that what is important is that our leaders are engaging. I'm sure you have watched President Makebi Zulu's entry into the race for presidency from the time he came back from South Africa at the call of the Zambian people to come and throw himself in the ring and be able to represent him, because the Zambian people feel that he bears the qualities that they need in a leader that needs to replace this bad leader that we currently have now. They believe that the qualities that Honorable Makebi Zulu possesses are what they need, are what Zambia needs to be able to move forward from this backwardness that we are currently experiencing now. And so even at the point he arrived back here in Zambia to express interest, to vie for that particular seat, he has been engaging opposition political party leaders. He has been engaging fellow leaders in the Patriotic Front who may not be towing the same line, to be able to come back, sit down, and be able to move in one single file. He's been engaging with opposition political party leaders. You have seen him engaged the Right Honorable Harry Kalaba, President of the Citizen Fest, is engaged, Council, Senior Council, Kelvin Vubebwale, KBF, and the Zambia Must Prosper political party. He's been engaging all these political parties, for the purposes of fostering unity in the opposition. So it is not something that you can just wake up and achieve in one day. Democracy and participation really in any form is a process that is ongoing. You engage today, agree to work with political party B, they come on board. Tomorrow you fight, you live to fight another day. Tomorrow you engage another one. At the end of the day, what you need to know is that as the time nears to the election, everybody is going to work together. I know this because I know the hearts of our leaders. They all feel the pain that the Zambian people are feeling. And they know that at some point, everybody is going to have to agree to work with other people. So the fragmentation, I don't really see it.
Let's pick some calls. 0966 100 885 or 0777 885 885. The phone lines are open. We want to hear from you. I have in the house with me tonight a man who's well known to back and stand by the Patriotic Front, Mr. Nsoneka. And we've been talking about, what has been seen as, but he is clearly denied, is not fragmentation. It's the rebuilding of the PF and the unifying of opposition. Do you trust
the opposite of it, the UPND Mingalato in PF?
Let's get those calls.
In simpler terms, we can call it.
Say that again, sir.
The UPND Mingalato against PF.
The UPND Mingalato against PF. Let's take some of these calls and hear what the people have to say. You're through to the People's Radio, Sky FM. Hello. Hi, who am I speaking to? Wayne. Where are you calling from, Mr. Wayne?
Yeah, from Tendere.
From Tendere. Mr. Wayne, go ahead with your contribution.
My contribution is that we are always wondering, do these leaders, they always think that, the government should live together, during my elections. Nothing can change. If the typical background is grassroots level, it's my youth, it's Utika. Utika, Tamawati, Mungasovana Chinde, the manufacturing groups, the marine industry, we still in there. Utika, Mungasi is Maritas, the Sankara Peace, direction, and when there is a Chima campaign, and the details are actually, which is my youth, Chibaba. One, this is question 3. This is not a recruitment defense. A program that is a recruitment against the election under Zambia police. But I recruited 3,000. So I'm going to say 3 in Manga Joanna season of school where I'm watching. You go to a sponsorship in my college.
Thank you very much. I want to let you go now just so that we can take a few more calls. Thank you very much. Do stay tuned. Let's take some more of your calls at 0966 100 885 or 0777 885 885. Sky FM, the People's Radio.
Madam Matinda
Nasebenza bwino tikamba na ndani lelo?
Work.
Mr. Work, go ahead and speak to Mr. Nsoneka. He's here with us live on the studio.
Baget Muganji.
Bueno bwanji wa work. Ndiye zina yanu, no? Dimo walozi.
Musanje komo nona work.
Inova musanje mwere utia ni mudara. Mbunji nyo mulipa baba work ali mbuti mbamarozi.
Munda jitukuta kai mutatu mkotele.
Abamunyonganya abamarozi abambumujanira ali mweneli kando. Amulega usoba na abamarozi mudara.
Okay. I agree with you about the UPND talking power. For some reason, why I informed me about the UPND talking. Look at, we think the 2 years of people now better for not to really manage the you get in the other Paunta. See if you are there, like a near Paunta, taking things the cadres were benefiting during the time of PS. However, you are give a beer who come in a police, you are on your own, whether to pay. During the time of PF, then the main of police, particular police, the people are beaten and Bako and Apu. During the time of PF, what they do better than Pateventa. Onani ukaona makombo na making caro. Bana the kumbo kuma take a tato. But you didn't give a beer, no, when I look up to the full of fear, because you can't talk that. Or Papiaco na Baku, the bad lady is attacking the take Baku, of my school. Take a minute of the people. It's not TF getting power so that you want to cut. Cutting the Gereri. Come go to the city market, but the days of many of our people have a different about looking free and everybody now. I think everybody can cool. Within 2 years of TF, we are able to think some kind of buying victim. But then go far with 50, but to look about the level fire opposition for the open drama. After we give up here, they do 2 years that no, we are buying victim. This is not good to get to get the result.
Thank you very much to Mr. Mwinsanje Weke, frequent caller here, very, very passionate follower of the Sky Forum. Let me take a few more calls and then we can return back to Mr. Nsoneka and he can address everything that we have said. Sky FM, the People's Radio.
Morning, Madam.
Good morning, good evening, actually. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, Mulenga, the voice of Luapula.
Mulenga, the voice of Luapula. Yes, Mr. Mulenga, continue with your contribution.
Bwana Nsoneka, how are you?
Kukumkwa, wajani wa mbashi Mulenga.
Kilisho wina wadana.
Watashekana wesi.
Leken tulande lini yash mwaleke de shejamu. Tatoro. Lupia hizina kwa teni. Shishibe mbakani ya ningala tongana. Because Sulamana gets a vested, your social funding. That's the Roma vested in Madrid. What's up in that? What a question on Kena Tampete in that. To not see a free when the Tampete in that to fear the Montreal. Mushi, I should be in that. That's what I don't want to know. Madame Chiefs, Lombana, going down. I don't know. No erection that to Amama pictures Nama judgment, a Pachani Mapamta. No defector. Only they would do a opposition, not just. They are so what am I judgment? Even yesterday, what Maria Mama Shama does that kind of day. I'm not about that's what not Western or Southern. Only the northern part of Zambia, they want the fire to do, but look at that chief match, the right side goes that kind of thing. Look at that chief Puta, look at that chief Mononga, look at that chief Munkan and the chief Mushota. Once you have another province and the Chinga province and the Utorika Punarua. Nobody married those very never chief from President Mukweba. Let's very moment about Safari. So after the end of that skill about the Mutamland, that's why I'm not keep the
Thank you, Mr. Mulenga. Can you conclude, Mr. Mulenga?
In conclusion, why I tell you, President, the position of Mr. Commission, there will be. But I'm not I never catch up for Yala Navanatu.
All right, we're gonna let me.
I don't love to engage. It's a pity he's gone.
It's a very big pity that he's gone, but I'll allow you to respond. Let me take my last call, and then we return back to you. Sky FM, the People's Radio.
Yes, good evening, Madam.
Good evening. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Peter Kangula from Yema.
Yes, Mr. Peter, go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, when they come back to Kupa, they want to come and change politics. We want to change the economy of this country. You remember, Mr. President, when you are in power, do you remember that when they are not getting ready, let them end up my dad. They want to come back into power so that they can benefit getting those heads. Do you remember, people at the market there, when they put on Magatungu Makamaji, we have to Kujenga Makaza, we have to benefit.
No, sir. No, good sir. I don't remember. I don't remember, my good sir.
You don't remember?
No, sir. I don't remember. I don't remember, sir. I don't remember, sir.
So if you can't remember, I don't think you can remember. You know all those things that have been happening.
No, sir. I don't know.
We suffered with the DMD and we don't need him to come back to this country again. Nobody, everyone just needs to hear for us to come back again. But always remember those days when we suffered under the hands of the cadres, under the hands of the cadres. Thank you, I'm listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peter. Sky FM, the People's Radio. Hello? Hello, who am I speaking to?
Wilson Mulenga.
Mr. Wilson Mulenga, go ahead in 1 minute with your contribution, sir.
Okay. Nsoneka Michelle.
Kukumkwe, Vashan Vashmure.
Oh, right. Even the plan Nsoneka.
Can you please speak up, Mr. Wilson? We can't hear you.
My opposition leader was a fellow Nsoneka with Joko. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Please continue.
Wherever the two shall in a Zambia, one to Mutima Katana, a Mukweke. Ile Loga Mauta, Rachivane Kiabokumanda. Mwalishi bano kushukira lera Zambia wetu. Licha kutira mulipete mwonte pamo, uombe licha pamo, naikasa. Nsoneka mwalishi wanachale ngero kusaba blani munubile. Wafume kudyoko mwama imwe. Bayi walipangile pati. Mwalishi wawino wino kare chika. Mwalishi. So, ileno. Ichipati java blani. Kuleko hawa blani. Kule moneko ukutira. Ekuli wino. Echa peloti mukumishe kobe. Waa uche pelai. No kukira kuja kuli wa blani.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Mlenga. All right, I'm going to take a pause on the calls now so that we can give Mr. Nsoneka time to reply and respond to all of your questions, comments, and contributions. I hand it over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. And I'll start with the last caller, Wilson Mulenga, who says the opposition, the reason why the Zambian people are suffering. I think that Mulenga, your frustrations are shared not only by myself, but I'm sure, by the majority of Zambians. They share your frustrations, and it's understood that you could react in the manner that you are reacting. But I want to give you comfort, Mulenga, that all these leaders in the opposition that you see are talking. They are talking to each other. They are engaging to ensure that the unity of purpose in the opposition that is much needed in order for us to foster change of government and national restoration as at August 18th, 2026 is achieved. So be comforted that your leaders are talking. Reach out to other political parties and other opposition leaders to ensure that we all work together as one united opposition that should be able to restore our country back to its glory you know that these people that are here mismanaging things found it. And so be rest assured that your leaders are listening. If you feel if you feel feedback na ifenga tuafika tulea mungu beba ma president kwa tabekala chalo balera ndati pitirishi mu kuchita engage fine mu kuchita engage ba opposition leader munenu okwewa timuise pamo tukwate okubombera pamo ngaba ngandaimo ngatuchinja obuteko, because the Zambian people recognize the need for us to change government, and they know that we have one system of changing, you know, government here in Zambia. And so that system is through the ballot, and the ballot has got to have a face, and so that face will be identified. And that face, as things are, is President Makebi Zulu, whom we are rallying behind. That is, you know, our flag bearer in the opposition, from where I come from. You know. So, Wayne in Tendere says nothing can change. We the youths are suffering. You see, you could feel the frustrations of our fellow Zambians, and more so young people. I'm a young person myself. I will only turn 35 years in a few months. You know, I'm equally a young person myself. I feel his frustration. I've been where he is, and really, it's not a good place to be in. But all of these things are what those in government are failing to feel. These frustrations are what those in government are failing to feel. Because right now, even though we in opposition can come up with all these ideas of how we want to rebuild our country, we do not have the mandate from the Zambian people yet. The mandate is placed in the wrong hands of the UPND, you know, who are currently mismanaging our country. And so it is to them that I join my good brother Wayne here to appeal that in the remaining few months that they have in government, because they have very, very few months, very, very limited time. I really doubt at this point that there's anything they can do that will change the minds of the Zambian people.
I want to
maintain them in government.
I'm very interested in how you respond to Mr. Peter, who says that we saw violence, we saw cadresism under the PF. I think that one is the one.
I will quickly get
that has a fire burning under it, because that is what a lot of people have associated the PF with. The violence from the cadres, the inability to speak how you want in certain areas, otherwise you'll be beaten, the inability to go to certain places wearing certain regalia, otherwise we saw this, sir. And I remember your response to that was, I don't remember. But I'll tell you one thing. I think you and I are more or less age mates, and we saw this happening in the country. We were old enough to know what was going on. Our peers were old enough to understand. And yes.
I really sympathize with you and your peers.
Yes. I won't lie. I did. I saw it live.
Yes. And I'm saying,
yes.
And I'm saying this with all manner of humility.
Yes, sir.
That I really sympathize with
yes,
you.
Sir. Yes, sir.
These are things that were reported during our time as having been happening.
But the way you say reported, it's almost like it was a myth, like you don't believe it really happened.
These are things that were reported.
No, but do you believe that they happened?
These are things that were reported. We received reports. I have been a leader in the Patriotic Front for some time. And so I was not where some people were to be able to experience some of these things. But when reports came that these things were happening, and I can tell you something probably for nothing at all, that even after we lost power in 2021, President Edgar Lungu then set up a committee, or a central committee, set up a committee to go around the country to collect views from the Zambian people and find out the reasons why we lost elections. And I'll tell you that the biggest reason that the Zambian people had for voting out the Patriotic Front is the behavior of some of our members that are called party cadres, and
yes.
how they behave.
Yes.
That is the reason, the main reason that came out in
so,
those
so
reports.
This is
that
why
were
I'm
conducted.
saying,
No.
if it's
I'm still going to maintain that these are reports that we received, and we acknowledge these reports.
Okay.
These are reports that we acknowledge, that the Zambian people reacted in the manner they reacted at the ballot because they thought that our cadres went overboard. That they thought that because they thought our cadres went above and beyond to do the wrong things. And we acknowledged, we in the leadership of the Patriotic Front,
but do you
acknowledged
agree
that the Zambian people disliked the behavior of our people. And we have taken steps to amend. We have taken steps to change, to reform. We have conducted
So you do agree that cadres were a problem?
Process.
So you do agree that cadres were a problem?
What I'm telling you is that what I'm doing
because
right
you
now,
can't change if you don't think it was a problem.
What I'm doing right now is giving you comfort.
Okay.
That the reports were given. We acknowledged as a leadership that this is a mistake. It happened. It should not have happened. And we have undertaken steps to right this particular wrong, to reform. Our members have reformed. I think even you can attest to it. In the last 5 years, there's not been anywhere where you have seen violence of involving PF cadres, except maybe 1 or 2 incidences. I think last year during the Youth Day celebrations when UPND cadres attacked our members, our young people.
I would be lying if I'll be lying if I say I haven't seen improvement. It's true. We've seen improvement in the last 5 years.
And so we are on the right path. We are on the right path. So if that is the basis upon which Mr. Peter, a member of the UPND, wants to base isn't that an assumption?
He could be a member of any party.
To think that we will not return into government as a patriotic front because of cadres. We have apologized to the Zambian people for this particular mistake of cadres, and we have undertaken steps to reform. We have reformed. We are a new patriotic front. We have rebranded ourselves. That is why there has not been any pockets of violence involving PF, except where PF members have been attacked by the UPND, with little response. You see, with us in the Patriotic Front, we tell our members, wherever they go, no matter the provocation, do not respond with equal measure. We have the manpower. You've seen what membership we have in the Patriotic Front. You've seen groups of our youths in the Patriotic Front. If we needed to respond to the violence that the UPND has advanced towards us, this country would be unrecognizable. But we have spoken to our people. We have guided. Do not respond with equal measure, even when you are capable of doing that. You know, and our people have been exercising maximum restraint to all manner of provocation that has come from the UPND. They attacked our young people in the celebrations of Youth Day, I think of last year, if not 2024, at Mulungushi. Their videos were all over. Even up to now, you can find them on the internet of how our people were attacked and maimed in that particular Youth Day event. And we didn't respond according to the way they wanted us to respond, because they want to degenerate this country. You see, even the issue of violence, historically, this is not something that we as PF started. PF was not there in Mapatizia or Southern Province when the UPND and UPND were killing each other, were pangering each other in Mapatizia. The famous or infamous Mapatizia formula. It was a showdown of the MMD and the UPND. The Mufumbwe formula where people died, it was a showdown of the MMD and the UPND. So you see, in these two most, most pronounced events of violence, there's one political party that is common, the UPND. It is the one that is still existing right now. But we have exercised maximum restraint, and we continue to tell our people, we continue to encourage the spirit of rebranding, of moving away from the things that the Zambian people did not like, the cadreism. We have done away with it.
Let's take some calls,
the Zambian people have forgiven. I like to really respond to everybody. In the very short time that I have, PK said we will change politics. I didn't say we're coming to change politics. We are coming to rebuild Zambia. We are coming to rebuild Zambia and set it back on the right path. Because right now, if it was on a train track, Zambia has lost control. It's off the rails. It needs to be placed back onto the rails. And the only people that can do that is the people that have experience, the people that have been here before. And it is those of us who are in the opposition. Vamusanje, UPND, children, you see, he was talking about, they want to come back and bring junkies, they want to come back and be taking kachasu. I mean, we in the Patriotic Front have no history, even as bad as you say we were. We have no history of going to parade children on camera in Mandevu and forcing them to drink cachaso. That happened in the UPND government. A whole cabinet minister was making children drink cachaso on live TV. That didn't happen in the PF. So, Wamusanje, Ayomaga Namorini Mukia Mudara, Gomunyo, Gomukala, restrict them to UPND. Because that's why you do those.
Let's take a very quick call. Sky FM, the People's Radio. Good evening, Mr. Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Young man, Sonia. How are you?
Good, sir. My name is Nsoneka. Sonia is a woman's name, sir.
Let's open no relationship with my nephew who is in Kawata.
It is a relation, sir, so you might proceed with caution as you handle me. You handle me as you would handle your nephew.
That's good. You know, it's very good when people, they say that democracy is not for everyone. What I can advise my young boy there is better he goes back, they say, to the language which is in PF. Whatever is speaking should be hearsay. When I'm to talk about PF the way it was under the Michael Sata, I doubt if we are to wake Michael Sata now, he can be happy with what is happening now. How many presidents are we having at the moment? For a period of 5 years, you have failed to come up with somebody who can lead PF. You know, if we are learning from our friends where democracy means something, like in America, it's 5 years, 10 years, another party has to come. Whereby us, we don't maintain that, we have failed in Zambia. You check, you are talking of people, they are not working. How many youth were employed under PF during their time? A lot of youth, you left them on the street. What is happening? That is, you take that grave for them. You never employed, you never gave them employment apart from matching them every now and then in the street, stealing people's properties. You know, there are a lot of things that, you know, you can't be blaming UPND, whatever happens, when you don't have a pillar in PF whom you can support. In short, you have failed to identify a leader in PF, which is very bad. How many presidents do we have under PF now?
My good uncle.
Listen, nephew. How many aspiring candidates do we have under PF?
There are no aspiring candidates under PF now, my uncle. There's only one leader, and that leader is Makebi Zulu.
If we are to call for election now, because anything can happen.
He's supposed to be the president of the Tonsa Alliance, who are apparently the true followers of ECL.
Can Makebi Zulu, honestly speaking, compete with the HH? Honestly speaking, can he compete with the giant like HH?
The giant who was crying in Livingstone at Motandi Hota Balandanga.
No, it wasn't like that.
Those are not giants, my uncle.
That grandfather of yours is honest from the beginning.
No, sir, my uncle. My grandfather has lost control. You need to help him.
Mr. Kenny, for the sake of time, I'm going to ask if you can conclude so that Mr. Nsoneka can also conclude, and you need to wrap up the interview.
Okay, listen, Nsoneka.
Yes, my uncle.
I know there is always a beginning.
Indeed.
If you are talking of 2030 somewhere there, maybe people, they will see repentance in you. You go ahead. I'm wishing all the best. Not this time around.
Thank you, my uncle.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kenny says, not this time around. How do you respond to that? I think for me, what I'm hearing from him is to say you've got great people, but you need to work on yourselves as a party. You need to unify, and that is why I kept using the word fragmented, because it literally illustrates the disunity that is being seen, like I said from the beginning, from the outside looking in. So he says, yes, you can go to the polls, but not this time around. How do you respond to that?
Well, you see, the beauty of democracy is that even my uncle, Mr. Kenny, has a right to his opinion. And whether I agree with his opinion or not, I am bound by the rules of natural justice to respect that opinion. And so I respect that opinion. But I want to talk to my uncle that the next time me and him have a conversation, perhaps in the next 6 months, I will not be a member of the opposition. I will be a member of the government. I will be a member of the government under the auspices of President Makebi Zulu. So whether it matters of 2031, maybe they can take my grandfather HH as he calls it.
Let me add
break and then try and bring him back in 2031.
Let me add on that. With the proceedings and the trends of the political landscape right now, and as an aspirant of Katuba constituency, will you be standing independently or on a party ticket? I think you've basically answered that. You'll be standing on the PF party ticket, correct?
I will be standing on the PF Pamosi Alliance ticket.
Okay, PF Pamosi Alliance ticket.
Whatever ticket that the PF Pamosi Alliance will provide, that's a ticket that I will be standing with, regardless of whatever that happens.
Okay, Mr. Nsoneka, unfortunately we have elapsed our time, but I don't want to end without asking you this last and final question. Why should the Zambian people trust an opposition to govern effectively when it appears that you still have quite a few internal affairs that you need to settle?
Well, I honestly don't know how best to answer that question with conclusivity. But I think that what is important to note is that we as leaders in the opposition are aligned with the Zambian people. We feel the pain that the Zambian people are feeling with regards to mismanagement of our country, mismanagement of our economy, mismanagement of our democratic tenets, mismanagement of our rule of law, mismanagement of our justice systems. The Zambian people feel all of that. Nowadays, the Zambian people can't even express themselves against government on social media. Every time you get, there's a strong opinion that should be shared. People are having to look around, their coffers to see if they have enough money to afford a lawyer, because whatever they are about to say might land them, in police cells. A situation that is very
Was that not the same under the PF?
No, it was not the same under the PF. It was never the same under the PF. It was never the same under the PF.
I seem to remember a few people Pilato got into trouble under the PF for saying what he felt he could say.
I can count to you the number of people under this government that have gotten not into trouble, but that have been put behind bars where they don't belong for simply addressing Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. You are a woman, my good sister. There are women in Petauke. I know you are aware of this because you are a very woke person. There are women in Petauke who were arrested for simply being captured on camera on their mobile phone saying Mr. Hakainde is going to lose the elections in 2026 because he's giving people fertilizer in medals and small plates. People were arrested. Up to now, I think those women should still be in jail. A magistrate actually sat and thought in his own infinite lack of wisdom that those people deserve to be in jail and put them in jail. You see what I mean? Those things are things that we have been seeing happening. You see what I mean? Those things are things that we have been seeing happening. If you want to argue that it happened during PF, I can say let's deal with statistics. You know what I mean?
Okay, so the numbers are the ones that will tell. So it's about choosing the greater evil or the lesser evil.
In the first year of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, he had sent to jail over 10 people who criticized him on social media. To this day now, where he's clocked his 5 years, I don't know how many people are behind bars. You remember a situation of 2 young people, teenagers from Mufulia, who recorded some video criticizing government. They were arrested there, bundled up in the dead of the night and driven all the way to Lusaka and kept at those filthy police cells at Ridgeway police post there for 2 months, until President Lungu hired lawyers for them to represent them and get them released on habeas corpus. Many, I can continue to go on and on citing for you examples of people who were arrested for saying not even worse than what that gentleman who carries 3-4 cameras around his body and thinks that's what makes him a great camera person, was insulting Avena Dora Siria, Nawakwi, and all of that. You know those people who are aligned with UPND. Even now, after coming from jail, doing a short stint in prison, where he was pardoned by President Lungu in 2021 after HH won elections, he has continued to insult women and is always insulting people on his social media platform. Those are people that this government finds, very amusing, and they are okay to deal with. Anyone who says that Mr. Hakainde, Aduli Saunga, they need to go, poor innocent women in Petaoke are in jail right now for just saying that this man will lose elections. I mean, surely, even if the PF is the king of all evil.
So let me close with this one. Does Makebi Zulu, Mr. Makebi Zulu, have a chance? Do you believe he has a chance to win these elections?
I'll answer this question very definitively.
Okay.
I don't believe he has a chance. I know he has a chance. I know he is winning the August 13th elections. I know he's sending Mr. Hakainde Hichilema into early retirement. He's retiring Mr. HH to Naminwe farm, or whichever one of his farms. He can even go to the one in Muchenje, in Katua, in my constituency. He can go and settle there. But I know for sure that Makebi Zulu is winning the August 18th, 2026 elections. He's coming to liberate Zambia. He's coming to reform and restore our country back to order, where these people have destroyed it.
As we close tonight's discussion, one thing is definitely clear. Zambia's democracy does not just depend on the strength of a ruling party. It equally depends on the strength and unity and credibility of the opposition. Because without a strong alternative, accountability itself becomes weekend. Mr. Nsoneka, thank you very much for joining us tonight on the Sky Forum. And to our listeners, thank you for your voices, your passion, and your commitment to shaping Zambia's future. This has been the Sky Forum. Join us same time, same place, right here on Sky FM, the People's Radio, Monday to Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. That's 19 to 20, 100 hours. This is the Feel Good Culture Corner. Do stay tuned.